What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? It's your boy back with another one. Guys, in today's video, we want to talk about the story of Botswana. Damn, it was a fascinating story. You know what's surprising me? In the years that I've been in school, I've done the history of England, touched on the history of America, we did the history of Germany, did the history of Russia, did the history of France, touched a bit on South Africa. Yeah, and that was it. Those are the countries we did history. Now, the funny thing is this, right? We have 54 or maybe 55 countries now in Africa because Sudan was now split into two. And the funny thing about it is, throughout our history lessons, we did not learn much about Africa. There is so much history and tapestry in Africa throughout the years, throughout the centuries. And yet, for some reason, we were never taught anything, basically, about Africa. So I find it, I find it strange. I find it revolting. I find it insulting that we live on a continent that we have no clue, no idea about the history of the people of the continent, and yet we've been force-fed the history of peoples from far away. Is it a good thing? Possibly. Is it a bad thing? Possibly. Why am I saying possibly on both sides? One, a people without a history or a people without a knowledge of self is like a tree without roots. Because if you don't know where you're coming from, how can you possibly know where you're going to? I mean, there is so much there is so much history in Africa. Just just in the southern part of Africa, right? Just in the northern part of Africa, just in the eastern part, just in the western part. We don't even have to talk about the whole of Africa. Just within this regional blocks, there's so much rich history that we were never taught. We just were never taught. And it's shocking. It's shocking that the majority of African kids don't know much about Africa. And the only time you really hear about Africa is when there is war, when there's violence, when there's diseases, when there's famine. It's shocking. It really is shocking. I mean, I don't even know where to start. When I'm just talking about it, I just don't even know where to start. I don't even know what to say. But yeah, today we want to talk about the story of Botswana. I think of all independence, in freedoms, and self rule stories, and I think Botswana's one stands out. I mean, it's a unique story. Now, check this out. Did you know that Botswana never had a civil war? I was shocked to watch this documentary, and the narrator in the documentary said Botswana was a British protectorate, and Botswana was going to be handed over, or it's going to be ruled over by Cecil John Rhodes's company, and it's the British South Africa Company. It's the British American Company, British South Africa Company, or British East India Company, and three men stood out, and they flew all the way to England to go and plead with the Queen, was it the King of England, the Queen of England, and she sent the governor, the governor, the governor of who was stationed in South Africa, I think. He went all the way to Ghana to grant Botswana their independence. I mean, that in itself is unique. There's no bloodshed, no civil war, just a simple handover. Now, if you think that was impressive, the next bit is even more impressive because not only did they hand over an entire protectorate, there was there was no there was no infrastructure. I mean, the Botswana people I can't say they inherited because it's their country, so they don't inherit. I mean, okay, they did not inherit any infrastructure. They did not inherit, like how most independence wars are fought and you fight, and then you're blowing up gas tanks, oil tanks, you blowing up radio stations. There was none of that in Botswana. Nothing. I mean, the very first buildings in Botswana apparently were, apparently there was a farm. That was like about it, just a farm. There was no buildings, none whatsoever. So the first buildings, other than that farm, right, were actually built by the Botswana people after they gained, after they were given, or after they were granted their independence. I mean, this is this is a unique story. I mean, I'm shocked that everything you see in Botswana, from the tarred roads to the buildings to the infrastructure, all that came when they were granted independence or their self-rule, self-determination. They did not inherit any infrastructure. They did not inherit any. I mean, so this begs the question: What was the British? What was the plan for that protectorate? What was the plan for Botswana? Because they didn't build anything. I don't know. I mean, Botswana is diamond rich, so one would think that for the simple reason that it's a diamond rich country or an area, that the British would hold on to it and obviously milk it for all it's worth for the diamonds. But they didn't. So this begs the question: What was their plan with this protectorate? I mean, you have all the diamonds in the world, and they they were holding on to it for so long, and they just had no clue of what to do with it. I'm trying to think if maybe Cecil John Rhodes discovered or had a feeling or had a hunch that they had diamonds. Because in the documentary, they don't mention anything about anyone mining. There's just no mines. There wasn't any mines, no mining happening. So this begs the question, what was the British idea over the plan for Botswana? Because they had it for so long and they didn't utilize any of it. So, um, guys, you guys don't understand. This is unique. I mean, this is different. I mean, this is a unique story. I don't have any other. I don't have any other. I don't have any country that has a more unique story than this, because normally when a land is invaded or taken over or colonized, there is some sort of infrastructure put in place for the colonizers to survive and exist. But in Botswana's case, there was nothing. So, mm, man, it's just shocking, man. The story of Botswana is one for the books. It really is one for the books. That's one story you can actually say is an African country that was built from the ground up by Africans for Africans. Man, this is just for me. I was just totally blown away. I was totally blown away. Totally blown away. Yo, man, I can't believe it, bro. I mean, there's no pros or cons in this one, because it's not even a long story. It's just a short story, but I just wanted to share that because I mean, I was just thinking that it's rare you hear of a peaceful handover. It's rare. I don't think I don't think there was any other peaceful handover in any part of history. I don't think so. If there is, please let me know in the comment section below, because all I know is this story has it just totally blew me away. That May, whoa, okay, okay, now it's hitting me now. Maybe because Botswana, maybe because the Botswana people built their own country from the ground up. Maybe that is why the leaders are more cognizant of the hard work and the hard labor that went into building the country from scratch. And possibly that is why you hardly hear of corruption and nepotism. I'm not saying it's not there, but Botswana is hardly in the news for anything bad related. And one thing, the government over there is very strict. They're very patriotic. They're very nationalist. They love their country. They'll do anything for their country, which is a good thing. I'm thinking this is something that the rest of us could actually learn from, because if you work hard and build something with your own two hands, you'll appreciate that thing more than if you just inherited something. So this really makes me wonder if that is not the crux of why most African countries are corrupt, are mismanaged, because our leaders did not build anything from the ground up. So it makes perfect sense that they would obviously, like they said, easy come, easy go. So if you didn't work hard for anything, you would obviously mishandle that thing or misuse it. So now it's beginning to make sense why the Botswana people are so hands on, delicate, and very protective of their land Whereas the majority of the rest of Africa, the leaders just don't care because they inherited a country that they didn't inherit the country, they inherited infrastructure that they didn't need to build from scratch. They just had to maintain it. And even that they failed to do. So it makes you wonder now, do you think we should all give the countries back and then demolish, or do you think we should just demolish everything and then rebuild everything from scratch? Maybe then we'd appreciate and manage our countries better. Let me know what you think about this story in the comment section below. Was I on the money or did I totally miss it with this one? Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You know we family, right? Allah.